Well, I finally got the yard done, and you can see a long patch just there. That's where I ran out of fuel again. You can see how much it's already started growing across there. And I've still got to rake up all that stuff before it makes dead patches. But it has started raining. It started raining when I was down the back, and I just got attacked by the grass. What I was doing earlier, I'll show you that part of my job for today, which started putting privacy screens up. Going to do a second one which will come to about here, which means I've got to trim a lot of this hedge and back edge of it. I stopped because I want to let that concrete cure properly. This one is tack screwed to the post that I concreted in for this gate. Not bad. I do need to trim that hedge up. I was going to do that with the electric chainsaw, so glad I wasn't in the middle of doing that. Just letting the weed maker cool down before I put it away. Got a new addition to the work shed. This set of lockers was being thrown out at work, and they just dumped it in the construction space, and it was all locked. So I drilled all the locks out. I think I've got some spare lock barrels going there. I've just the perfect height first towards the centre. I've got it right up against that bench. There's a little bit of gap next to this one, and it's really through the back of it into the frame there, so it's nice and sturdy. And the thought with this is that stuff in here, all the stuff is just sort of dumped on the top of benches. The only horizontal space I had in this shed that I could actually work at was this workbench. It's covered in crap now too. That's part of the organisation process, isn't it? The trouble is that that's where my grandfather's welder used to sit, so I've got to find another spot for that to be sort of tucked away out of the way, so I'm not constantly having to wheel it in and out. Not sure what I'm hitting.
In the front yard.
Let's stop for a minute. Then go get the offcut from that post to test the hole.
Motion detected in the front yard.
I don't think it's going to come into play, which is good. I think that's another one. That, I think I've either hit rock or another big tree root. Yeah, I've hit something hard right. That's a rock or another tree root. I think it's a big tree root. I'll tell you one thing, once this is concreted in, you won't be able to pull it up because of the shape of the hole. That's that rule about not holding stuff in your hand. That was part of this weekend's job. Got those two panels up. That one I've just concreted in. And we trimmed back all of this because of where the fence is going to be going. You can see, just see this line of it that goes up to the front corner of the property. My wife sat out here and supervised to make sure I got it done. But bit of advice on the trees. That'll get trimmed, but the next panel might be a little bit taller, like stepping up. Get to use the electric chainsaw again. I had to change the blade, the chain over, because I had my 14-inch on there and the teeth were destroyed on the blade. I was just burning through the wood, so I went and grabbed this. This was the original one with this. It's a 16-inch. Sharpen the blade up. It went through fine. The reason I had it swapped over is because this one tends to wander if you're going through a giant log, and I was trying to slab at one point. And now I've got to get rid of all of this. You can't see if my mulcher's sharp. What's left of the pile, so a few of the little forky branches, things that won't go through the chute. The big things obviously, and that's the rest. And I think I'll need to sharpen those before I attack this side of the hedge. I need to take at least 6 feet off the top and clean it up at the front. But pretty happy with that. End of period 1 Monday. Starting the day with year 11 construction. First thing in the morning Monday, it always seems to be low. So I had a few kids here. Sawhorses are coming along well. They're all the practice ones. These ones still need to do the legs. Actually, this one, that's an accessible one. The rest were all practice ones. So these ones are all completely finished. And this one's just got to do the legs. Then over there, accessible one, accessible one, accessible one, accessible one. Practice one parts there. That one's almost finished. He was just marking out his legs. So I've got two that are about to finish their practice one, and they're really coming along well. It's some of the ones doing the accessible one are really struggling. They forget the parts or the steps, and so they're really tempted to ask, and they know they can't. They'll ask for cryptic hints. Pretty pleased with the way they're going. I don't think they're all going to get finished by the end of term because we've got 8 days of school left. I'm not sure off the top of my head how many periods we've got in that time because of the way the weeks are. We're in week 8. I guess we'll just wait and see, won't we? Anyway, I've got to go and finish checking some reports because they're due to be printed soon, so I've got to do them 7 and 8, finish checking 7 and 8s. Monday, Arvo. Up on the roof. Putting up the Christmas lights that we put along the front of the house, so I run them from that corner along the front and along that side, and they kind of just there go down to the power points at the back. But I figured while I'm up here I can also check on my sprinkler system for the bushfires. This side was blowing around a bit. I was wondering if I should have another clamp on it. Only got 3 on the front. This is just sucker hose. I've got these little conduit clamps, one at each end on the actual end pieces, which holds them tight, and then one in the middle just to stop it from... In the really windy day the other day, I saw this sort of blowing out over the edge of the house. But it looks okay. And I learned from last time, there's a little breeze today, it's not too windy. I clamped the ladder to the gutter so it won't blow down. I'll just check these lights so they're all hanging right and then get off the roof. Enough light being given off by these to get around outside, no problem. Tuesday, just before lunch. Had year 11 twice today, like second period and fourth period, and they're all working really well. One thing that I realised this period, because they've been working really well, if you look just there, the two taller ones still need the legs trimmed, but out of the ones that are all done, these are the practice ones. I've now got more than 50% of the class onto their actual assessment, the accessible one. And that feels really good, because so many kids are really chasing this up at the end of year 12. And this looks like I might only have a couple in that case, like ones who aren't showing up at the moment. But that was really good, and you can see they're all level on the top, they're all doing really well, and they're the practice ones. So there's a couple that are getting this close to completing their accessible one, and they're doing pretty well with it. Got them first period tomorrow. We'll see how many sleep in or actually make it on time. Why does the wind always have to pick up when I get on the roof? That's the bag I bought Christmas lights up in, and it was up on the roof with me. Bought a set to go along the back of the house. And wind picked up a bit. I hear it. Pretty happy with that. The ones at the top go all the way around the top of the house now, and then we've got these ones on the bottom deck as well. Got those put up, and I had to buy new ones for this bottom deck because I could not find the ones that I used to have for there. And before anybody says it, no, they're not the ones from in the work shed. They're icicles. They're Christmas tree lights. Oh, that looks good. Friday, Arvo. And we've just had our staff Christmas party at school because can't go to restaurants or anything like that this year with COVID, so we did a COVID Christmas party in the open area of one of the blocks and around the playgrounds, and had games and our usual Secret Santa steal the present off other people thing, which is a hilarious game. Oh, it was a lot of fun. Now just after 6. Out here. Time to head home for the weekend. 3 days of kids left at school. Had a fairly big clean up of the staff room and some new computers. One of my staff is the technology administrator, so she gets the kids to help her, and they get new computers set up all over the school this time of year when they come in. Very close to the end of another school year. My year 11's had an assignment due today. They turn it in on Google Classroom, so I'm just I saw that one had turned it in, but I'll give them till the end of the day, end of the evening, whatever, and
see if somebody else turns the rest of their stuff in and see how it goes. And